Hello students, welcome back. So this side Pushpen Singh Rajawat and I here welcome you all on the chapter number 2 of class 9, that is matter around us pure. So the matter that is present around us is whether pure or not pure. So this we are going to see in this particular chapter. So what we are going to see, let us write all the things that we are going to see in this particular chapter. But first the introduction to you, that is students, the things that is around us, that is we call them as a matter because they are occupying some space and they have some mass. But if I talk about whether the substances that are around us is pure or not pure, so students, remember one thing, that for a common person we call them the pure, that is there should not be any adulterations, then we can call it as a pure. Just for an example, if I say that is pure milk, pure juice, so just by writing the pure, are they pure to us? No, they are not pure if I say in the terms of chemist or in the terms of scientist. Why they are not pure? Because for the scientist the definition of pure substances is different that we use for the common people. So that difference we are going to see in this particular chapter. And what are the other things that we are going to see? First of all, we will see that what are the pure substances and what are the impure substances, and then at last we will move into the second part of the chapter, that is the separating techniques, that is how can we separate different type of pure substances from the mixture. And at last we will also see that is the physical changes and the chemical changes. So just writing them all, that is the content that we are going to see in this particular chapter, that is matter around us pure. So students, writing all, that is, so chapter number 2, and what we are going to see here, we are going to see that is the classification of matter on the basis of their chemical properties, in which we will be seeing that on the basis of chemical properties the matter is classified as, that is the pure substances and mixtures. So in detail we are going to see what are the pure substances, how the pure substances are classified, and what are the mixtures and how the mixtures is being classified. And also we will see here, that is the next topic, which is about the separating techniques. So here in the separating techniques we will be dealing with the mixtures, either it will be a homogeneous mixture or a heterogeneous mixture, and we will be doing what? We will be separating the pure substances that are present in this particular mixture. And at last we will be seeing some of the physical changes as well as chemical changes. So students, this is what this is all about, that we are going to see in our chapter number 2. So this seems to be that it is divided into 3 parts, but here the classification of matter on the basis of the chemical properties is much more important, that is on the basis of their purity. So it is classified as the elements as well as the compounds. This we are going to see here in this particular lecture. We will be dealing with the elements and the compounds in the lecture number 2. Then we will proceed our lectures and we are going to see here, that is what are mixtures and how the mixture is being made up of, what is their different constituents. So here we are going to see that is the homogeneous mixture and the heterogeneous mixture, and how these homogeneous mixtures are different from these heterogeneous mixtures. Also the heterogeneous mixtures, how they are classified, and the homogeneous mixtures, how they are classified. In this we are talking about also about the concentration terms that we are going to use. And in this particular separating techniques we are going to see almost all the separating techniques that we are going to use, just like separation of solid solid, separation of solid liquid, separation of liquid liquid, and the separation of gases. Also we are going to see how to purify the water in these separating techniques. So here this is the much more important. This is also important because the major part of the question is being asked from here. So this is very important, and this is important for you to learn some of the concepts and implementing them. So these physical and chemical changes, this you should know, because in the chapter number 1st of class 10th you will be dealing with the chemical reactions and equations, and in which you will be dealing with the chemical changes. So here you should be knowing that what are the physical changes and what are the chemical changes, or simply that how can we name some changes as the physical or the chemical. There may be another type of changes like the reversible, irreversible, periodic, non-periodic, natural, man-made, and etc. There are many more, but here we will be dealing or concentrating mainly on the physical changes and the chemical changes. So this is all about the chapter number 2 that we are going to study further. So now students, moving back to our lecture and seeing that this is the chapter number 2 and what are the contents for today's lecture. So seeing the contents for the today's lecture, that is we will be dealing here today, that is the pure substances and their characteristics. So first of all we will be dealing that how we have classified the substances, that is whether they are pure or they are impure, and after saying that if a substance is pure, what will be its characteristics, and at last we will be seeing that is what are elements, what are the types of elements, and how we classified the elements. So students, without wasting any further time, let us move into the next slides where we are dealing with what? We are dealing with the pure substances. So students, you may come across various things in the nature where you will be seeing, suppose this is what milk, this is what lemonade juice, this is soil, this is what water, this is blood and ice cream. So how can you classify these substances? These substances, for your information, they are all matter. So how will you classify these substances? These substances that are present here could be either pure substances or impure substances. So what would be the criteria for you? Just for an example, if you see here milk, it seems so much pure to you. Just for an example, some says that it is what? It is a very pure. So the milk that is present here, is it pure? Yes, the milk that is present here is pure for the common people, but it is not pure in terms of chemist or in terms of the scientist, because in this particular milk it might be having what? That is fats, proteins, calciums, liquids, so just like the water and some other particular ingredients also. So here the milk is also not the pure substances. So what would be the criteria for us so that we can classify the substance whether it's a pure or unpure? So for that we will be dealing with what? We will be dealing with the definition and seeing some of the characteristics for the classification. Okay students, so now moving into the next and seeing the definitions, that is what are pure substances. So students, take a great look here, that is it is a homogeneous material. What is the meaning of homogeneous? That is the uniform, or I can say that is having a uniform composition. So a homogeneous material which contains the particles of only one kind or only same kind. So here it contains the particles of only one kind. So here students, this particular word is so much important, because this one kind could be either element or the compound, but it should not be more than one kind or the more than one type. So writing the definition here, that is a pure substances is a homogeneous material which contains particles of only one kind, and if the pure substances is having the particles of only one kind, then those particles will be showing the same kind of properties. Why? Because all the particles are same in nature. So the complete definition would be what? That is, it is a homogeneous material which contains the particles of only one kind and shows a definite set of properties. So what are those properties that we are going to see? Just for an example, for elements, just like metals, the properties would be different from those of the non-metals, and in the case of metals, the properties would be somewhat other with the other metal. So the properties would be different. We'll be dealing that in the coming lecture. So what are the examples here? So the examples are, you can see here, that is the iron, silver, oxygen, sulfur and many more. Just example, carbon dioxide. These are what? These are simply the pure substances because they contain the particles of only one kind. Just for an example, if I draw here what? That is the aluminium sheet. The aluminium sheet will be containing what? That is all the atoms or all the particles of aluminium. So these all particles are what? These all particles are identical in nature. They have the same mass, same volume, same number of atoms, same number of electrons, protons and neutrons. They are identical in all respect. It means that this particular aluminium is containing what? This particular aluminium is containing the same kind of particles that are called as what? Aluminium atoms. So here this aluminium is what? Aluminium is simply termed as a pure substance. In fact, I can term all the elements that are present, that are 118 elements, as the pure substances because they are categorized under the pure substances. So here students, seeing some of the other examples that are, you can see here, that is pure substances. So now students, you have understood what are the pure substances that must be containing the particles of only one kind. So student, out of X, Y, Z and W, what are the pure substances here? Taking a look for X. So here X contains this green particle. So this particle is identical to this and this. It means that all the particles that are present in X are identical. It simply means that they are what? Or I can say that here X is what? X is a pure substance. So I hope students you can get here that what are the pure substances and what are unpure substances that are, I can say, that is the mixture. So here the pure substances that is having the particles of only one kind. Checking for the Y. So here you can see here that is simply a green atom is present which is combining with this particular purple atom. So here they are forming what? They are forming a molecule, or I can say they are forming a particle. That is, they two are forming a single kind of particle. They are not individual particles, they are simply the single kind of particle. So here you can see this is green, this is purple, and here this is also the same, this is also the same, all same, same and same. It simply means that all the particles that are present in the Y, they are also single kind, yeah, or I can say they are also of the single kind or the same type of particles. So here the Y can also be termed as the pure substance. So here the Y can also be termed as the pure substance because the Y also contains the particles of only one kind. Checking for the Z. So talking about the Z, what it contains one blue atom, one white atom and one pink atom which is combining with each other. It simply means that they are forming what? They are forming one molecule. So this is what? This is one molecule or simply one particle. So they all are acting as a one kind of particle. This here you can see students that this is also acting as a one kind of particle, that is one blue, one white and one pink. Here it is also acting as what? That is one kind of particle. It is also what? A single kind of particles. This is also a single kind of particle because they all are identical, because they all contain three atoms, one blue, one white and one pink, and the arrangement or the structure is also the same. It simply means that they are simply what? They are simply single kind of particles, and all the single kind of particles we can call them as the pure substances. So here the Z is what? Z is also classified as the pure substances. Talking about the W, so W contains what? One green particle, one green and one purple particle, one blue, one white and one pink particle. So here this is forming what? This is a single particle, this is also a single particle, this is also a single particle, and all these three particles are different from each other. Since they are different from each other, it simply means that they are what? They are not the pure substances, because it will be showing the properties of this particle, it will be showing the properties of this particle, and it will also show some different properties which is also different from both of them. So here these are not classified as the pure substances. So here the W is what? W is not a pure substance. So I hope students you can get what are pure substances and what are unpure substances from this particular example. This is very easy. The pure substances are what? Those contains the particles of only one kind, and if they are containing the particles of only one kind, they will be having a definite set of properties. So moving into the next and seeing some of the examples here, that is the pure substances. Here you can see a glass full of water. So the water which is present in the glass. So can I term this water as a pure substance or not? So students, remember one thing, if this water is a distilled water which do not contain any kind of gases dissolved in it or the minerals dissolved in it, then only I can call this particular water or the glass of water as a pure substance, because it is only made up of single kind of particles that are what? That are H2O. So here H2O will be acting as a single kind of particle. So here a glass of water or a glass of distilled water is termed as the pure substance. Students, talking about the tap water is not a pure substance because it contains dissolved salts in it. So tap water, talking about the tap water, that is not a pure substance because of the impurities or the salts that are dissolved in the water. Talking about the rainwater, talking about the distilled water, they are the pure substances. If I say H2O, so H2O is what? H2O is a pure substance. So remember students, that little difference between them. Here you can see the table salt. So this is what this is. Table salt, and you all know that the table salt contains what? Table salt contains sodium chloride. So can I classify table salt as a pure substance or not? So students, for you, that is, the table salt contains NaCl, that is what? Na plus and Cl minus. So here it is containing what? That is Na plus and Cl minus. So there are two type of ions, that is positive ion and a negative ion. So the positive ion is termed as a cation while the negative ion is termed as a anion. Don't worry students, this you are going to study chapter number 3, that is atoms and molecules. So students, just have a look here, that is, it is what? The particle that are present here, that is NaCl, that is sodium chloride. So here I can write it as sodium chloride, and it is having a definite set of properties. So talking about sodium chloride, so sodium chloride is what? Sodium chloride is a single particle, or I can say they are acting as a single particle. That's why NaCl, remember students, NaCl or sodium chloride is termed as a pure substance because they are having a single kind of particle. But talking about the table salt, so is table salt a pure substance? No students, table salt is not a pure substance because the table salt contains a mixture of sodium chloride and some other salts. Just for an example, sodium iodide is also present. That's why the salt contains some amount of iodized salt. So here in the table salt you will be getting what? That is the 97% NaCl, that is sodium chloride, while the 3% as the impurities. What are these impurities? These impurities are simply which are not NaCl. So these impurities could be any other type of salts, that is, just for an example, NaI, sodium iodide. So here the table salt is not considered as a pure substance, while talking about the NaCl, that is the sodium chloride, is termed as a pure substance. So students, I hope now you understand what are the pure substances and what are not the pure substances. So it's time for us to move into the next, that is the characteristics of pure substances. So what are the characteristics of pure substances? Here students, the pure substances is a homogeneous in nature. It simply means that they are what? They are uniform. You cannot identify that different type of particles would be present or not, or a different layer would be present or not. So they are homogeneous or they are uniform in nature. Talking about the second characteristic, that is a pure substances has a definite set of properties, and these properties are different from the properties of other substances. How they are different from the properties of other substances? For that you need to take a look here, that is talking about the H2. So H2 is what? That is hydrogen gas. Talking about the O2, what is O2? That is the oxygen gas. While talking about the H2O, so what is H2O? That is water. So here putting all of these in different containers and see the particles that are present in it, or the simply the shape of these particles. So here for the hydrogen we will be having what? That is 2 atoms of hydrogen. So here this H2 will be forming a structure like this. So here I am forming another particle and another, and like that. So students, you can clearly see here, that is, these are what? These are the particle of hydrogen. I hope students you can get here from this, that is, these are what? These are the particles of hydrogen, where you can see that these particles, that is having two atoms of hydrogen, they are what? They are identical to each other. So here H2 is what? Or I can say the hydrogen is what? Hydrogen is a pure substance. Taking another, that is making for the oxygen. So here for the oxygen, you can see here, that is oxygen is also having what? That is two atoms of oxygen, and they will be forming what? They will be forming a different kind of particle which is different from this. So if these particles will be different from that, it means that they will be having some different kind of properties. Okay, so here it is completed. So students, take a look here, that is, this is what? These are what? These are simply the particles of hydrogen which are all identical to each other, that is, they are the pure substance. So it is what? It is a pure substance. Talking about the oxygen, they also contain the particles of only same kind. So here the particles of oxygen are also what? They are the pure substances. So talking about water, so how the water will look like to you, that is, so students, you can see here, take a look here, that is, it contains the particles of like this, where the two hydrogen atoms is attached with a oxygen atom. So here you will be getting what? That is this kind of particle where both hydrogen and oxygen atoms are present. As you can see here, two hydrogen atoms while one oxygen atom is present. So students, what are hydrogen atom, what is oxygen atom? I have told you that we are going to study that all in the next chapter. So students, what I want you to concentrate here, that is, it contains the particles of only pink color, it contains the particles of only yellow color, and it contains the particles of two pink color and one yellow color. So are these particles all the same? No. Students, see here that if it contains the particles of pink color and if it contains the particles of pink color, the particles that are present in this pure substances, that is hydrogen, is entirely different from them. That is, their properties will be entirely different. They will not behave the same. Just for an example, if I talk about hydrogen, hydrogen gas is what? It is a combustible gas. While talking about the water, it also contains two atoms of hydrogen, or the two particles of hydrogen, as you can see here, but it will not a combustible gas. It simply extinguishes fire. So here the property of this pure substances is entirely different from the property of this pure substance. So I hope students you can get a proper concept from here, that is, the properties of the pure substances are different from the properties of another substances. So students, moving back to the next characteristic, that is, the composition of a pure substances cannot be altered by any physical means. Here students, by any physical means, just like boiling, heating, or anything else like cooling, you cannot change the properties of the pure substances. Just for an example, water will be having the properties to extinguish a fire, whether you can use it in the solid form, you can use it in the liquid form, or you can use it in the gaseous form. That is, either you can use it ice or the water or the water vapor. So they will all be having what? They will all be having the same kind of properties. So students, their composition and the properties cannot be altered by any physical means. So here the composition of water will be what? H2O in the case of ice. It will remain the same in the case of water, and it will remain the same in the case of water vapors, that is H2O in the gaseous form. So I hope students these all characteristics of pure substances will be very much clear to you. So now students, it's time for us to move into the next that is about the categorization of the pure substances. So here the pure substances are categorized, that is the elements and the compounds. So we are going to see here that what are these elements. So moving into the next slide, that is the elements. So what are the elements, students? So elements are those pure substances which contains the particles of only single kind, which cannot be subdivided into two or more simpler substances by any physical or chemical means. That is, the element you cannot subdivide it into further simpler substances. So they are what? They are the pure substances. So here reading its definition, that is which cannot be subdivided into two or more simpler substances by any means, that is by any physical means or by any chemical means. Just for an example, if you will be having what? That is aluminium, as I have taken the example first. So here the aluminium, it contains only the single kind of particles, that are the aluminium atoms. So these aluminium atoms you cannot further subdivide it into some other type or the other kind of particles by any physical means. They are what? They are simply the single kind of particles. So here these aluminium atoms or these aluminium sheet is simply what? That is termed as the element, or the atoms are what? Atoms are the smallest part of this aluminium element. So here some of the examples are given. Just for example, like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, copper, zinc, tin, lead, etc. So almost 118 elements that are known to us. Some of them are occurring naturally, and while some of them are synthesized in the laboratory. So these elements here are what? These are the pure substances. So take a look over here for some of the elements that are classified as the metals, non-metals and metalloids. Here you can see the elements which are present in the periodic table. We have arranged them in a particular table and named this particular arrangement as the periodic table of elements. So this is what? This is the periodic table of elements, where you see a systematic arrangement of elements. So in this periodic table you will come across, that is metals, non-metals, metalloids. So seeing that what are the metals, what are the metalloids and what are non-metals. But first have a look to this video in which we have seen a particular, that is iron gear, and we are going to see that simply the iron gear is made up of only the particles of iron or not. So here you see, this is what? This is the iron gear, and we are zooming into the iron gear with the help of electron microscope to see that all the atoms that are present inside this iron gear are made up of single kind of particles, or they are not the single kind of particles. So we are zooming in here in this particular, and as we speed up this process, you can see that the dust that come across at the starting stage, and while we move and see some, that is at the end, we will be come across what? We will get and come across to see here, students, when we zooming in further, we may come across the atoms of only iron, that is having the single kind of particles, that are the iron atoms. So here have a look here and see the particles of iron. So here you will encountering with what? You are encountering with the all the atoms of iron that are present in the iron gear. So it means that the iron, which is an element, is what? It is a single kind of particle, or it is made up of a single kind of particle, and we name those single kind of particles or classified as them in the pure substances. So here you have seen and understood that the pure substances are only made up of single kind of particles, whether it's an element or it's a compound. So here we are discussing about the elements. So now students, it's time for us to move into the next slide and see the classification of elements. So here the elements which are present in the periodic table behind me, they are classified on the basis of their properties, that is their chemical properties, as the metals, non-metals and metalloids. There are some other classification which comes from the non-metals, that are the noble gases and so on. But here we are categorizing all these elements on the three categories, that are metals, non-metals and metalloids. So what are the metals? Metal will be those substances which showing some of the properties just like they lose electrons. This is based on their chemical properties. and more about the metals and non-metals you will be seeing in your class 10th chapter number 3, that is metal and non-metals. But here we are simply classifying them on the basis of their physical properties in the next slide. So here you can see in this particular table, that is just a line from here. These are what? These all are what? They all are the non-metals. This category is of the noble gases. So what are the noble gases that we are going to deal in the class 10th? Here we are simply classifying all the elements and seeing that the majority of the elements are made up of simply metals or the non-metals. So here you can see these are what? These are the non-metals, and non-metals have the tendency to accept the electrons or the sharing of electrons, or they do not react in the case of these noble gases. While in the case of metals, here you can see they all are what? They all are the, that is including them, they all are what? They all are the metals. So the majority here is present, or the majority of the elements are of metals, and the some elements here you can see that is which lie in between them, that is boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium and polonium. They are termed as the metalloids because they show some of the properties of metals while some of the properties of non-metals. Here the properties of metals and non-metals are entirely different, and as you can clearly see that the maximum number of elements that are present in the periodic table are simply metals, while a very few comes under the non-metals, and out of those very few comes under the metalloids. So this is the categorization of all the elements that are present in the periodic table. So students, moving into the next slide and seeing about the metals and non-metals and the differences based on their physical properties. So here starting from the first, that is their state. So talking about the state, the metal exists in the solid state at the room temperature, while talking about the non-metals, they exist in the solid or in the gaseous state at the room temperature. There are some exceptions here, that is the mercury. It is what? It is a metal and it exists in the liquid state at the ordinary temperature or at the room temperature, which we take as the 25 degree Celsius. Talking about the non-metals, that is a bromine, which is also what? A non-metal, and it also exists in the liquid state. So these are what? These are some of the exceptions that you need to know. They might ask in your examinations. So moving to the next property, that is the luster. So what is luster? It is the property due to which the metals shows some shining, or they have the ability to shine. So metals are generally lustrous, that is they have a shining surface or they can be polished. So here just for an example, gold, silver and copper have the metallic luster and they can be polished. While talking about the non-metals, they do not have any metallic luster or the non-metallic luster. They are simply what? They are dull, or I can say their surface is dull. Just for an example, you have seen carbon. The surface of carbon is black and it is not shining at all. So here out of these, some of the examples, you can see an exception, that is iodine. So iodine is what? Iodine is having a lustrous appearance. So out of these non-metals, only one non-metal will be having a lustrous appearance. So moving to the next, that is the melting and the boiling point. So the metals will be generally be having what? They will generally have the high melting and high boiling point. You all know, you have studied in the chapter number 4 what is the melting point, what is the boiling point, what is melting and what is boiling, and the difference between all of them. So the melting and boiling point, talking about them, so metals have what? Metals have the high melting and boiling points, but there are few exceptions. So what are those exceptions? That is the sodium, potassium and gallium have the low boiling points, and also the cesium have a very low melting point, and also the mercury, which exists in the liquid state, that is its melting point is very less than that of the room temperature. Talking about the gases, they have what? They have very low melting point, as the metals they are having the high melting point. So there are some of the exceptions in the non-metals, that is the carbon and silicon. So the carbon and silicon or their allotropic forms, they show very high melting point. Just for an example, that is the graphite and diamond, which is an allotrope of what? Carbon. They are having a very high melting point, even higher than the metals. So moving into the next and seeing, that is the density. So the density of metals are very high. And talking about the non-metals, the density of non-metals are very low, or simply the non-metals are light in weight or the lighter in their densities. So what are some of the exceptions? Some of the exceptions here you can see, that is sodium, potassium and calcium. These are some of the exceptions in which the metal will be showing lower density. They even floats over water on reacting with them. While talking about the non-metals, some of the non-metal, that is the exception is here, you can see a diamond. Diamond is what? An allotropic form of carbon. It is having the high density as compared to the density of non-metals, which is generally low. So here you have seen some of the physical properties. Now it's time for us to move into and see some of the images where we can clearly see that the metals that are present here, that is, this is cadmium, this is selenium, this is bismuth, this is tin, this is gallium. They are having the shining surface, and when we put the gallium on the palm, it simply melts. That is, the solid gallium converts into the liquid form due from the heat taken from the hand. So due to the heat which the gallium takes from our hand, it simply melts in the palm. So the melting point of gallium is very low. So you have seen that they are having what? They are having a very bright surface, and all of the metals, they exist in the solid state. And see the color, they are not in very different colors except for the gold and for the copper. Most of the metals exist in either the silvery form or the grayish form or the mixture of silver or gray. So these are what? These are the metals. So seeing some other categorization of metals and non-metals, that is on the basis of their ductility. So what is the meaning of ductility? Ductility means that they can be drawn into thin wires. So the property due to which a substance can be drawn into thin wires by stretching, the property is termed as the ductility. And metals are what? Metals are ductile. That is why we can use the metals like copper and aluminium in the wiring, because they are ductile and they can be drawn into wires. While talking about the non-metals, they are non-ductile at all. They are simply brittle in nature. So they are non-ductile. We cannot draw the non-metals into wire with stretching. Talking to the next property, that is the malleability. So what is the malleability? The malleability is the property due to which the metals or the substances can be beaten into thin sheets. That is, the 3D surface will be beaten to form a 2D surface. So here you can see, that is, the metals are what? Metals are generally malleable. It means that they can be beaten into sheets. Just for example, you have seen the gold sheet, the silver sheet, or the silver decorative which is present over the sweets, and also you have seen the aluminium foil that we all use at our homes. So here it is due to the property of malleability that the metals can be beaten into thin sheets. So metals are what? Metals are generally malleable. Talking about the non-metals, non-metals are non-malleable. As I have told you, they are simply brittle. As soon as you apply the force on the non-metals, they will shatter into pieces. So moving to the next physical property, that is the conduction of electricity or heat. So metals are what? Metals are the good conductors of heat and electricity because they contain the free electrons. While talking about the non-metals, non-metals are what? They are the bad conductors because they do not contain free electrons. So here we are having the exception in both the cases. That is, talking about the lead. So lead is what? Lead is the poorest conductor of heat. While talking about the non-metals, in the case of non-metals, graphite, talking about the graphite, which is an allotropic form of carbon, is also a good conductor of electricity. And moving to the next point, that is the hardness. So metals are what? Metals are generally hard, except some of the cases, that is like sodium, potassium. They are what? They are so much soft that they can be cut with a knife. Talking about the non-metals, non-metals are also very soft. They are not hard. So metals are hard while non-metals are soft. So moving to the next point, that is the sonority. So what is this sonority? The sonority is the property due to which the substance forms a ringing sound. So the metals forms a clanging sound or a ringing sound when they are beaten with something. So the metals are what? The metals are sonorous while the non-metals are non-sonorous. And remember students, talking about the hardness, diamond, which is an allotropic form of carbon, is the hardest natural substance known. So here as the non-metal seems to be very soft, but the diamond, which is an anisotropic form of carbon, is very hard in nature. So students, here you have seen some of the physical properties or the difference between the metals and non-metals based on their physical properties, and now seeing some of the examples here, that is, you can see here the copper sheets, the gold sheets, the aluminum sheets. It is possible because of the property called malleability. You can also see, that is, the iron bars, they are also being possible because of the property called, that is, the ductility. And here you can see some of the metals, that is the gold, which is having a golden color, copper, which is having the brownish color, and other examples of metal. So here we have discussed all the elements, that is the metals, non-metals, and I have told you about the metalloids, that these are what? They are those elements which show some of the properties of metals while some of the properties of non-metals. So now students, it's time for us to move into the next and seeing, that is the some other elements. So the elements are also further be classified, that are on the basis of their reactivity or simply the form of the radiations that they give. So the elements which do not give any radiations or which do not radiate out any harmful radiations, they are simply termed as the normal elements, while the elements which gives out harmful radiations, they are termed as the radioactive elements. So the radioactive elements, you can also see those radioactive elements in the periodic table. So looking at the elements in the periodic table, so here you have seen the periodic table earlier in the slides, where we have seen and classified the elements on the basis of, that is, their reactivity, or simply, that is, the metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Here we are classifying the elements on the basis of their radioactivity. So the radioactive elements are simply what? That is titanium, and the 7th period elements, that is starting from the francium and ending to the organisms. These all elements are what? These all elements are radioactive elements. They gives out harmful radiations. Also some of the elements in the 6th period, that is polonium, astatine, and radon, they are also the radioactive elements. So here you can see, that is the 7th period, which also contains, that is the actinoid elements. They all are what? They all are the radioactive elements. While talking about the lanthanoid series, so in the lanthanoid series, promethium is simply a radioactive element, while others are not radioactive at all. So students, you have seen and you can remember that what are the radioactive elements and what are not the radioactive elements by simply seeing this particular pic over here. So students, it's time for us to end this particular chapter because the time is limited. So it's time for us to moving into the revision of this, whatever we have understood here. So revising whatever we have understood, that in this particular lecture, that we have studied about the pure substances and how these pure substances are being made up. They are simply, that is the matter. So when we classified matter on the basis of the chemical properties, the chemical properties of matter, we have classified these matter into the pure substances, and the another category is the mixture, so which we termed as simply the impure substances. So what we have discussed here, we have discussed all about the pure substances, that is what are the pure substances that are made up of single kind of particles. And what are those particles? Those particles are single, that is one kind of particle. So if they are having only one kind of particle, so they will be showing some very different characteristic properties which will be different from some other particles. So here we have also seen some of the characteristics, that is characteristics of pure substances, in which we have seen some of the characteristics like the pure substances are homogeneous in nature, they have a definite set of properties, the properties are different from some other particles or the other pure substances, and the properties or the composition of pure substances cannot be altered by any physical means. So these are what? These are some of the characteristics that we have studied, that is 1, 2 and 3, which I have discussed just now. So students, apart from the characteristics, we have also classified the pure substances as elements and as the compounds. So for the elements, we have seen, or we have classified the elements into two categories, that is simply the metals, the non-metals, and the next is metalloids. So we have seen that in the periodic table most of the elements are metals, some of them are metalloids, while some of them are also non-metals. There is another category of classifying elements which is based on their radioactivity. So here some of the elements are classified as the normal elements, while other are classified as the radioactive elements. So here in this particular lecture we have deal all about the pure substances, its properties and all the elements. So in the next lecture we are going to discuss about the compounds. So students, moving and ending our chapter, that is matter around us pure, this lecture number 1 is now simply ended. So now we'll meet you in the next lecture. Till then students, thank you all.